Buongiorno a tutti. In today's video we are going to have a look at the new Italian TechTree and see if it was worth it or not to grind it out, as well as if Wargaming actually kept their promise.
At the final stages of testing, they will be shaped into completely capable vehicles that don't break the current balance.
I played all the tanks, grinding them myself with XP boosters and stuff like that. However, I did skip the stock grind with free experience, which I used around 300,000. It's a lot, yes, but yeah. I didn't want to play them stock because time constraints and my own sanity, as well as in the end, you as the player are going to use the most of your time in the tank when it's fully upgraded and not when it's stock. So yeah, this is my personal opinion of all the three, and let's just start with the Carro P.88. So yeah, the tier 7 heavy tank. The first one you are going to have a look at. 14 battles played, 50% win rate, 1900 damage per game in my case. That is alright. That's everything I can say. Equipment wise, I used vents, tank gun rammer and optics, and that is about it. What are the features of this vehicle? Well, let me think. Nothing. Genuinely, nothing. I don't know what the feature or the uniqueness of this vehicle should be except for it being a pile of crap. There's nothing else to say about this tank. It doesn't have a good gun. 240 alpha, the Tiger 1 has now more. It has 202mm of base pen, which is okay, I guess. You can work with that. You have premium rounds with 220mm of APCR pen, which is lackluster. And the DPM wise, it's non-existent really. 1989. That is okay, I guess. You can work with that, but it's not that good. It's genuinely not good. The accuracy is meh. The accuracy on the move is meh. The aim time is meh. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the mobility, you might say it's not that bad, but it's just 35 kph top speed. 12 kph in reverse, which is meh. HP per ton ratio, meh. And the armor, you might think, oh yeah, it has good armor. The whole armor, yeah, it's fine. The whole armor, it can bounce some stuff. The turret is a mixed bag. The bulge of the gun mantlet is 220mm thick. That is nice. You can bounce stuff with that, even tier 8 rounds. Very frequently. But the cheeks beside the turret, the flat parts, everything around the turret is 100mm. A tier 5 tank can pen that. Seriously. I don't see what is the point of this vehicle in the TechTree or in the game in general. It isn't fast. It doesn't have armor. It doesn't have alpha damage. It doesn't have penetration. Like, what's the point really? Seriously, what is the point? Do you want to hold down heavy? Go to T29. Do you want to have DPM and good turret armor? Go to Tiger 1. Do you want to have alpha damage? Yes. Do you want to have mobility and sniperness? AMX M4. Seriously. To me personally, the Assolto just looks like an XP drain. That's literally what it is. It's an XP drain for you to try and lose your sanity and stuff like that. I was lucky enough to have barely any tier 9 games, but if you get into tier 9 games with this vehicle, good luck. You will need it because it's an atrocious vehicle. So let's move on to the tier 8 one. Yes, the Progetto 54 is the first tank you will get your hands on with the improved auto reloading mechanism, if you didn't buy the loot boxes and got the Bisonte. The tank itself is unique in the sense that it's an insanely fast heavy tank. I personally needed 26 games to play this tank, to grind this tank through. Sadly, 46% win rate. I got a little bit unlucky, to be honest. It's not because of the tank or me being shit, it was just kind of unluck with the teams. Never play on patch day and stuff like that, you know, guys. 2200 damage per game is, in my opinion, for a tier 8 tank, alright. I'd like to aim for 2500, but 2200 is definitely something which isn't bad, you know. I pulled my weight in that regard. Let's talk about the gun, because the gun is the big problem of this tank. It is accurate, which is nice. It's a nice step up from the tier 7. The aim time is also very nice, as is the accuracy on the move. The DPM, however, no bueno. No bueno, comrade. Very bad. You are reloading a tiny touch quicker, than the Bisonte. However, the Bisonte has 360 alpha. You have 320. That leads to you having almost 400 DPM less than the premium part of the G. That leads to you to almost have 300 DPM less than the tier 7 tank. And the tier 7 tank already had not very good DPM. Your burst is in 7 seconds 960 damage. While the other tank has in 6 seconds, the Bisonte has in 6 seconds 1080. You lose 120 damage in the clip for basically almost the same real time. That is bad. That is genuinely bad. So, is the armor better, you might ask? No. No. The turret armor is actually, frankly, very bad, actually. You know, don't get me wrong. You can bounce decent amount of rounds with this turret. It's totally okay. But it's a duck build. It has a shot trap. You bounce off the hole, boop, into the turret, you pen. Because it's just 200 millimeters of thickness or something, or 180. If you use 9 degrees of gun depression, which is very comfortable to use, by the way, you make these weak spots even weaker. And you have a cupola. So you don't like weak spots. You generally do not like weak spots. Seriously, the only redeeming feature of this tank is that it has good accuracy on the move, good aim time, and good mobility. The mobility actually did save my ass a couple of times, even gave me the opportunity to carry the game. The penetration, 220 base, is okay. It's generally good, actually. 220 with APCR, with AP rounds, it's great. APCR 242, yeah. You know, the Bisonte has 270 with heat. And again, the Bisonte has a much better turret with no notable weak spot. So if you have to fight against the Bisonte, good luck. You will need it, because you have to fight against something which doesn't have really a turret weak spot, while you have a weak spot. So that's a little bit bad. But the thing is, I have to say, the good mobility and the good gun handling does make the tank feel comfortable to use. It's not good, but it's definitely not OP. And it's definitely not strong. It is okay, but it's definitely not good. You can work with it. Let's move on to the Progetto 66. Wens, stabilizer, and optics as equipment. And so many people say all the time that the tier 9s are always the gems of the tech trees. And yes, for the Rinoceronte line, this is the case once again. The Progetto 66 is a continuation of the Progetto 54, making everything better. Except for mobility. Mobility, the tier 8 was better, which is, again, weird, kind of. But yeah, I played in this tank 32 games, 2,900 damage per game, which is not that good. I want to aim for 3,100 or 3,000 roughly. 62% win rate, which is nice, and all solo. Like, yes, this tank is nice. You suddenly have 400 or almost 400 DPM more than the tier 8. That is a big step up. You have 400 alpha now all of a sudden. You have more pen, 242 base, and 303 millimeters of heat pen. The base pen is okay. It could be better. Keep that in mind, it could be better, but it's okay. You can work with that. You can work with that. But the thing is, you have 48-second reload time for the whole clip. Fun stuff, guys. It is the same reload time for the whole clip as for the tier 8 as well. And the tier 8 has 320 alpha. No, seriously. The tier 9 is so much better than the tier 8 in every conceivable way, except for speed. That's it. The gun is a little bit derpy. At times it has a little bit longer aim time because it is a bigger gun, but it is alright. The gun handling is fine. 7 seconds, 1200 clip potential. Again, you don't really want to do this because then you have like 48 seconds of clip reload time, which is kind of long, but it is workable. It is genuinely workable. You can get the reload time all the way down to 11.4 seconds for the round, you know, for one round, which is alright. You can work with that. Sure, DPM is not good compared to anything else, 2100, but it works. It generally works. Mobility-wise, again, you have 45 kph top speed, which is nice. You lack a little bit of HP per ton ratio, sadly enough, which is a little bit annoying, you know. You really want to have a speedy heavy tank, and the Progetto 66 isn't as speedy as the tier 8. Fuel range-wise, no complaints, it's very good. And armor, 1850 hit points is a little bit below average, But armor-wise, the whole upper armor, it can bounce stuff. That's fine. And the turret, and that is very, very nice. The turret is fairly goodly armored. It's very good armored, actually. It doesn't have a weak spot, per se, except for the gun mantlet. And now, as you probably know, the Rinoceronte has this little bulge or bump on the top of his turret. This bulge is the weak spot. So if you want to have a very strong turret on the Rinoceronte, you do elevate your gun when you're not shooting at an enemy. So to hide your weak spot. And the Progetto is literally a tank where you learn this. The Progetto 66 has the same weakness, the gun mantlet. As soon as you start to elevate the gun mantlet, it stops being an issue. So that is why you might see a lot of Progettos going all around, raising their gun and be like, look at me, I have a very long and juicy gun, you know? And that is very nice. You do have to use 9 degrees of gun depression to also be very strong on the turret cheeks. They are nicely armored, but on flat surfaces, chances are you can get penetrated by same tiered heavy tanks, even with standard rounds. Premium rounds, you might think, yeah, won't be a big issue. Anyway, Progetto 66, it's unique, it's nice, and it has gameplay elements of the tier 10 vehicle. I really do like it, and it is the gem of the tree. So now let's move to the top of the tree, the Rinoceronte, the behemoth, the rhino, the weird tank. I've played now 16 games in this tank, which is nice. 3300 DPG, which is totally a-okay, I would say, for this tank. I do think I should be able to get more out of this vehicle because of this 1470 clip potential. 75% win rate is nice, however. But this will go down to around 60% or 61, 62%, some of which I can achieve in solo games. Let's talk about the gun. 490 Alpha, 127mm of caliber, which is nice against Stridswagens. 268mm of base APCR pen, which is flying 1,400 meters per second. That is great. That is genuinely great. The heat, 325, nah. It's nice. It's nice against heavily armored vehicles like a mouse, but the speed, 762 meters per second, or 760 meters per second, it's not good. It's not good for sniping, and it lacks a little bit of penetration, in my opinion. But yeah, the gun itself is nice. You have good aim time. The accuracy on the move is derpy. That's a little bit of a pity. The aim time should be either better, or the accuracy on the move should be better. You know, the accuracy on the move is like 0.3, which is super bad. The aim time with 1.8 seconds roughly, that is nice. That is generally nice, but again, you need quite a long time to fully aim in. The accuracy on its own, 0.3, is super good for a heavy tank. Like, that is perfect for a heavy tank, you know? But, and that's the big issue, 10 degrees of gun depression is nice, but 48 seconds reload time for the whole clip. That is 10 seconds more than the tier 9 vehicle, okay? You have less DPM than the tier 9. You have the second worst DPM in the game, only being surpassed by the Mighty Core. Only the Mighty Core has worse DPM than the Rinoceronte. And that's a top dog. That's a tier 10 heavy tank. Fighting against the likings of a WZ-111-5A, you know? Yeah, 18.5 seconds for the first round, 15.7 for the second, and 14.5 seconds reload time for the last round. 14.5 seconds, roughly. That is... The WZ-111-5A can go to 8.8 seconds. It almost reloads twice as quickly as the Rinoceronte. That hurts. That genuinely hurts. Like, I get that Wargaming didn't want to make this vehicles OP. But... you reload longer than the Foch 155. The Foch 155 has 2,350 burst, if I'm not mistaken. You have 1,470 in 8 seconds here and 10 seconds, you know? The AMX 50B has 26 seconds or 27 seconds roughly reload time for 1,600 burst in 7.5 seconds. I have 21 second longer reload time in the Rinoceronte for less burst in more time. Like, that is tough. That is tough. Definitely, Wargaming's promise to make those tanks balanced work. They are not game breaking. They are genuinely not game breaking. But the thing is, the Rinoceronte needs something. And the burst isn't great. You know, the burst is, sure, it's amazing. It's almost 1500 in 8 seconds. That's cool, especially at the end of games or when you want to get into a new position. Because you can try and save burst or save DPM, you know. It works. And I do have to say, honestly speaking, I enjoy the Rinoceronte because it's unique. It's genuinely unique. But the fact that it doesn't have a tank gun rammer, that it can somehow boost its DPM is tragic. The accuracy on the move is atrocious, you know. I used Wentz, Stabilizer, and IRM because the view range itself is great. You don't need to worry about that. I am now, after this review, I am now trying to experiment with Bond equipment, with Bond Wentz, with Bond Stabilizer, and Turbocharger. Because, guess what? You don't have top speed anymore. You don't have 45 kph top speed anymore. Not like the tier 9 tank. What? You have better HP per turn ratio than the tier 9, but you lack 5 kph top speed. What? Why? Why wargaming? That makes no sense. You're making a line where you say they have good mobility. The tier 8 has the best mobility of the whole fucking line. What? That makes no sense. Honestly, what the hell? That's so stupid. You know, makes no sense. And then the tier 9, yes, it has worse HP per turn ratio, but it's 5 kph faster on top speed. And it reaches that top speed. You feel like so slow in the Rinoceronte. Oh, that frustrates. That's frustrating. Like, you feel that the Rinoceronte has so much untapped potential, but it's getting held back so much by basically every single stat has something I could complain about. It makes the tank balanced, but it makes the tank also underperforming, and you can easily give the tank 45 kph top speed without making it game breaking. You can easily give the tank 1 second reload time quicker without making this tank game breaking. Imagine if every single round reloads 1 second quicker. You still reload as long as the Foch 155, as the Carro 45T, but the Carro yeets around the battlefield at 60 kph. Now let's talk about the armor for a second. The armor is okay. You have the whole, it can bounce some stuff when you are at a flat surface. Loader plate, no. Loader plate is a weak spot, that's great. That's all good. When you use 10 degrees of gun depression, hull can bounce a lot of things. The gun has the weak spot up top, and that is again amazing. Elevate your gun when you're not shooting. Ta-da! People will not be able to penetrate you properly. That is nice. That's a very cool feature, and I like that. Especially as the Cupola weak spot is 160mm of effective armor. That is amazing weak spot. Even tier 8 tanks can penetrate that with standard rounds. That is amazing wargaming. Honestly, great job. Great job. It's not go hull down, be unpenetrable like the Chieftain, like the Super Conqueror. It genuinely needs brain to play the Rinoceronte at its full potential. The plates, however, on the side of the turret. By the way, back there is the ammo rack. Keep that in mind. Or the auto reload rack. That is annoying. But the thing is about this ammo rack, you can get penetrated on flat surfaces by AP rounds. Even when you are angling, it can get penetrated by AP rounds if the enemy gets lucky. That's frustrating. You really do need to use 10 degrees of gun depression. But again, the good thing is, if you use the 10 degrees, you have a very potent tank, and you can feel proud about yourself when you have premium rounds bounce off your turret, you know. And that is the thing. That is the thing with the Rino. It is underperforming, there's no doubt. But when you perform well in this tank, you feel great. You really do feel great because you know this tank is unique and it's not good. But if you perform well, you can really do this, you know. You can really do this and say, yo, I am proud of myself for performing well in this tank. So even if it isn't worth it for anything Clan Wars related, even if it isn't really worth it for anything random related, it is still, in my opinion, unique enough to have a space in my garage and be played here and there. I enjoy playing the tank because of its uniqueness. Because the fact that it can try to burst and have consistent DPM. But no doubt, I am 100% up for this tank to getting some buffs. Seriously, this tank needs some buffs. Personally speaking, I would say that making the gun more accurate on the move and giving it the 45 kph top speed would be already enough to see if it is going to be better. But Giving it more DPM, no doubt, would be also a way to go, you know. Again, 1 second reload time on each single shot would be a very well received buff. And it wouldn't make this tank OP, you know. But yeah, we'll see what Wargaming thinks after 6 months with the tanks. This is my personal opinion on this vehicle, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe to be always up to date with everything World of Tanks related. And obviously guys, don't forget to check me out on Twitch. Twitch.tv/RagingRaptor. Should be a box over here where you can look at it. Yeah, I will be playing this tank more because I still want to get good with this vehicle and maybe try to free market. I don't know, maybe it's a good idea, maybe it isn't. We'll see. It shouldn't have too high expected values like the CS63 AMG. The AMG is a very potent vehicle if you know what you're doing, and the Rinoceronte can be too. But the CS has great DPM. You can't say that of the Rino. That's the thing. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great time. Have a great time. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to comment what you think about the tree and what are your experience with it. Cheers and good luck on the battlefield.